Hey guys, it's a beautiful July day, a Saturday, and what a great afternoon. But today, it's all about tractor maintenance. We're going to be working on this tractor you see behind me. It's a 2018 Mahindra 2565 shuttle shift. I started changing oil a little bit sooner. We're at 225 on the Hobbs meter, and just because we're in heavy dust conditions. So let me share with you a couple things that I figured out along the way and see if it can help you out. So this is a 2015 2565. It was the last year before they switched to the 2665. There were only minor modifications done between the 25 series and the 26 series, but the Empower seat and a few other things. But so far the tractor's performed wonderfully. We will share some more information on that, but today it's all about maintenance. So first of all, raising the hood, this simply just cranks open by the two levers there. These side plates remove very easily. This is the air cleaner setup, and this is something I do probably about every 4 hours. Again, clean air filtration is critical to these engines. If you ever get dust inside one of these engines, it's going to destroy it very soon. Dusting a little 3-cylinder diesel like this is basically going to start immediate oil usage, loss of compression, eventually take your whole engine out. So in a high dust area, it's absolutely critical. So I've already fastened this. Simply has a strap right here, and this whole body swings out very nicely. The back of it is removed. Remember, your dust elimination port should always face down. Okay, so this has an inner and an outer filter. So I'm trying to do this one-handed. We'll see how this goes. Okay, so here's the outer filter. I've already blown it out once. This end of the filter tends to collect gobs and gobs of dirt, and tends to come out this dirt elimination port there also. There's a lot of tricks I've learned along the way. Like when dumping a bucket, I always go to the forward limit and then start dumping and roll backwards to try to keep the dust out of my air cleaner. Also, when I'm using a grapple bucket, I never shake that bucket out unless I'm slowly moving backwards. Okay, so this is the outer filter. This is the original one. I have a couple of these, and I blow them out and kind of alternate them back and forth. So whenever they get real bad, I will replace them totally. This is the inner filter. Again, I already had this apart, so it wasn't compromised like that. I very rarely found any dust in this unit at all, and we never had any dust internal. So far, so good on this. But you have to be hyper vigilant, especially in these dusty areas. Okay, a couple other things. Battery's really easy to get to should you ever need it. We've never had a problem with it so far. Speaking of maintenance and on the front end, this is something that I was not paying attention to. This front diff. Actually, it has a little dipstick in here, and you really need to watch it. I never thought it would use any oil, but mine, for some reason, I never see a leak, but it actually does use a little bit, so it's also good to add to your maintenance protocol. Okay, with that, a couple things to see here. I changed the horn. The stock horn was horrible. You couldn't hear it at all. It was just terrible, so I bought an aftermarket one. I actually bought a dual system that only installed the first one. So, oil filter. You may be aware of this or not, but from the original 2565, it had a very long, large filter. You might see another video online of a guy who was stump jumping and hit his filter on his stump, lost all his oil, didn't get his tractor shut down, and destroyed the machine. So I don't know if the impedance, the pressure by Mahindra was to do that, but they've shortened this filter. So this is the upgraded filter. It's quite a bit shorter, not quite half the size, but you can see it there. I actually get these ordered. They come directly out of India. It seems to work okay for me on eBay. Okay, something about this, okay, on this side here, everything's painted in yellow when you check. Dipstick here, of course, engine oil filled here. But something I wanted to point out, which I blew the first time. So underneath here, when you go to pull this, people that work on equipment all the time may be keenly aware of this. I was not. So here is where we have the oil pan. This is all heavy duty. Remember, the engine is integral in the construction and kind of stability of the frame. This is all heavy duty cast stuff. But there are actually 2 oil plugs here. So the first time I drained one, happy that went along, went to put oil in and noticed it only took 1.5 gallons. The capacity is 2 gallons. and that was my 50-hour change, the first one. So the second time I actually pulled them both, and yes, when you drain this side completely, there's still 2 quarts on that side that needs to come out. There must be a very heavy bulkhead running through the middle of this, which separates the bottom of the oil pan and holds a little oil back here too. So I always make notes of when things were changed out last and what the hours were on it also. Crazy heavy drive chain on this. That's why we just love this tractor. We live in very, very rough country, uber remote out here, far from any dealerships. In fact, this Mahindra being here in Utah is a bit of a quirk. There's very few of these here. As you may know, the Mahindrans are wildly popular in Texas, the Atlantic states, the Gulf states, and in the South, if you look at the concentration of the dealerships. But the amount of Mahindra dealers out west are very sparse. As far as a dedicated Mahindra dealership, they just opened up one in Salt Lake that's accompanying, I think, with a John Deere dealership. So far, the engine has performed excellently. I've had a couple of problems. They were all been covered by warranty. One of the things was this. This is the air conditioning pump, and this little bogey wheel here, tension wheel. I did lose it, and they replaced that happily. Sent me the parts and got it all done. A couple other things on this also. Besides the main air cleaner there, don't forget your cabin filters. There's one on each side. I simply got those little thumb screws there. Just remove both, pull the filter out, and blow it out. There's one on both sides. And just for reference, a lot of people have some notes about this. So up front here, these 2 ports and these 2 ports are outputs. These ports are intakes, so they do not blow cold air. Only these 4 ports blow cold air. The AC works fine, even though we're high here in Utah at 7,000 feet. With a glass cab, it acts like a greenhouse, and it'll get quite sweaty in there without it. On the back, of course, make sure you check all your linkage. This is the transaxle port. This is where you put all your hydraulic oil. It does use universal type hydraulic oil. And here's the dipstick for the transaxle. It's critical to keep up with that also. Because we're cold and it freezes up at weird times of the year, like June sometimes. I did crack my little tank. I'm just going to pull it off and epoxy it. It's got a little split right here, but that's nothing. It's the Mahindra's fault at all. As you can see, I configured the TR3. More about that later. I guess I'll do another video on that if I think these things are actually worth the money. Bottom line is they're crazy expensive, guys, but they're gold. I don't know how I got by without it. It's just unbelievable. Okay, a couple other things more on the Mahindra. On this one, we did put a third function kit on it. As you can see, all our connectors are pretty well jammed up on this side. This main filter here is your hydraulic filter. Mine's been changed once. As you can see, it's a new filter. So make sure that is on your protocol whenever you go through. It does not need changed as much as your oil filter. You can look at your book and it'll tell you all the information. The next plan is to just kind of eliminate this little plate, and I'm going to weld up a large skid plate here just to protect it. We don't have the heavy brush and logs out here. Higher up they do, but we're pretty much sagebrush country here. Again, whenever you do blow your system out, there's several layers of radiation here, of course, with the air conditioning cooler, your main radiator, and the other cooling systems. You really have to make sure you blow out in between these layers. Be crazy careful not to get your wand in there that you're blowing it out with and scratch that and cause a leak, or you're going to brace yourself all kinds of different grief, for sure. So that's pretty much it, what I want to cover today on the maintenance side of it. Again, the tractor's been very reliable, even though we get extreme cold temperatures. It's always started for me. I've never had major issues with it, and I've been pretty happy with the Mahindra so far. So look for more on this tractor, and I will post some videos soon. Oh, I did kind of want to share with you these side panels. That's one more thing I wanted to bring up. You can see it's just got 2 different prongs right here, and they simply insert into these 2 holes right here and here. But the catch is right on this little thing. So if you look inside, you want to look for that piece which inserts into that keyhole right there. So when it comes to take it off, you simply just lift it up. No tools required. Really convenient. And easy to get off, makes work a lot easier. And before you comment, yeah, I know you can do the maintenance with the bucket down, but you really got to be very limber and crawl in there and try to work around all this stuff. This does have a lock lever, so for locking the system up, which I've never had it droop at all. I don't leave it up at night, of course, it's just not safe. But I've never had any problem with it bleeding off and falling down. So yeah, I think it's just a lot easier to leave the bucket up. Or if you feel the absolute need to, they're fairly easy to disconnect. Anyway, that's what I got for you today. More to come later. Thanks for watching. Steve in Utah. Good luck to you guys.